Are you seeing double too? You're about to do a double take. There is a bazillion in one chance that an animal is going to be born with not just one, but two heads. And defying all odds, these animals sport two heads, two eyes, and two mouths. Keep watching all the way to number 1 for one two-headed creature that will shock you out of your seat. It's a miracle that it even exists. Before we get on with the top 10 double-headed animals, make sure you support us and subscribe to our channel on the bottom right. After that, hit the bell button below and we are good to go. Number 10. Janus, the two-faced goat. On the 5th of April 2020, on Nuska Farms in Wittenberg, a two-faced goat was born, shocking everyone in the world. The owner, who had seen a lot in her decades of raising goats, had never seen anything like it. She named it Janus after the two-faced Roman gods of beginnings and transition. She thought it fit pretty well. In case you're wondering, two heads aside, Janus was a perfectly normal baby goat. The only difference between him and others on the farm was that he had two brains in the front that connect together in the back of his skull, meaning that each head was able to function independently. So Janus had two different consciousnesses. Tragically, Janus died in May the same year. One morning, he didn't have an appetite. His temperature then dropped. He became less active. By the end of the day, he had died. Number 9. Two-headed cow. An eerie stillborn was born with two heads, two hearts, two stomachs, two spines, and just one tail at the Blyth family farm in Many Peaks, Perth. The farmer, a woman called Rebecca Blyth, gave out her statement, saying that it's something we've only seen in photos and heard about. Her husband Jeff added that he had never seen anything as strange as the two-headed stillborn in all of his 47 years of farming. But that's a stillborn. How about an actual calf that survived? You'll find one in a village in Dejiang County, Guizhou Province in southeastern China. This mutant animal had two heads, two ears, two mouths, and four eyes. It was born after a long, difficult 7-hour-long labor. The owner, a woman known as Auntie Zhang, described the calf as unable to stand on its own feet, but it could happily drink from both mouths. Number 8. Dr. Demikhov's two-headed dogs. Unlike all of the two-headed animals on our list, the two-headed dog wasn't born this way. It was made in a lab. This controversial experiment was conducted by Soviet Dr. Vladimir Demikhov in the 1950s. Before he created the two-headed dog, he was already a renowned pioneer in transplantology. After he perfected being able to transplant vital organs between dogs, he wanted to take things to the next level. His mission? Plant the head of one dog onto the body of another dog. The doctor and his team performed a total of 23 failed surgeries, but the 24th time was a charm. The photos even made it to Life magazine. Demikhov had gotten a large stray German shepherd that he named Brodiaga, which is Russian for tramp, and he got a smaller dog named Shavka. Shavka would serve as the additional head and neck. The brutal surgery was a success. Both heads could see, hear, smell, and swallow. But whatever Shavka's head drank fell directly through an external and onto the floor. This hybrid only survived for just 4 days. Demikhov didn't stop his experiments after. His longest-living two-headed dog lasted for nearly a month. Before we continue with one two-headed animal who strongly resembles a mutated beloved Disney cartoon, just hit the like button to fully support us. Number 7. Two-headed deer. When Kentucky hunter Bob Long caught what people called a two-headed deer, no one could believe it, until the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources posted actual pictures of the deer. In all of Long's 30 years of hunting, he had never felt as dumbfounded as he was when he shot a white-tailed deer and realized that in its antlers was a second buck. But that was an incident of two sets of antlers getting locked up. In May 2016, that's when a real two-headed deer was found. In a forest near the Mississippi River, a man was hunting for mushrooms when he found a two-headed Bambi. It was a dead newborn baby fawn resting in underbrush, but it had two heads on one body. The body looked freshly groomed, but the mother was nowhere in sight. After further examination, the fawn was found to have a single spinal column and two hearts located inside a single pericardial sac. According to experts, it's an unprecedented feat that it was even delivered, though it was most likely stillborn. Number 6. Two-headed porpoise. In 2017, the world's first incident of seeing a two-headed porpoise was documented. There are nearly 700,000 porpoises around the world. 345,000 of them dwelling in the North Sea. Out of all of those, there has never been one porpoise with 2 heads recorded. In this case, it was Dutch fishermen who caught it by accident by bycatch in a beam trawl net in the North Sea. It was already deceased, but the fishermen were worried that it was illegal to keep it, so they placed it back into the ocean. But not before they took several photos and reported the anomaly to researchers. Otherwise, no one would have believed them. Finding such a bizarre porpoise is especially strange, since while 2-headed and conjoined twins have been observed in reptiles, domestic animals, and even humans, it's incredibly rare to find a wild mammal with such a mutation. What scientists were able to gather from the photos is that the porpoise was a male and a newborn, and it still had an umbilical opening. The tops of both heads still contained hairs, and the dorsal fins weren't erect yet. Number 5. 2-headed turtle. This 2-headed turtle was found by a Williamsburg resident as a hatchling. Both heads are completely unique and with different personalities. The head on the left acted more dominant, as it was the one able to look ahead and thus direct the body where to go. The other head still showed movement, expressing curiosity. It was able to look around its environment and smell things. The turtle was given away to the Virginia Living Museum. Believe it or not, this condition, while impossibly rare, is common in turtles and snakes. Keep watching for a 2-headed snake in a minute. Scientists credited it to the complex development process of a turtle or snake eggs that is vulnerable to several variables. But they have an advantage over other 2-headed creatures. Mutated mammals rarely make it past being a newborn, as the challenge of having to be born results in complications and low survival rates. On the other hand, turtles are just hatched from an egg. And unlike dogs and Dr. Demikhov's crazy experiments, no one would be able to create a turtle with 2 heads, so this condition is more up to chance and fate than it is genetic. Number 4. 2-headed shark. Is there anything more terrifying than a shark? 2-headed sharks. And although 2-headed sharks sound like something straight out of a more nightmarish version of Jaws, it's real. And it's not just one, but so far only embryos and stillborns have been found, but they are turning up around the world. A few years ago, fishermen in Florida fished a female bull shark who carried a 2-headed fetus in its uterus. Again, in 2008, a 2-headed blue shark embryo was found in the Indian Ocean. The most recent of incidents was recorded by Spanish researchers who found an Atlantic sawtail cat shark embryo with 2 heads. They were raising sharks in a laboratory for human health research when they saw a see-through shark egg containing an anomalous embryo. Like all 2-headed creatures, it didn't survive. Number 3. 2-faced cats. One fearless, odds-defying 2-faced cat named Frank and Lewis lived for 15 years. It even made it to the Guinness World Records book in 2006. Considering these mutated cats normally don't survive living more than a day, this was extraordinary. It was even more unbelievable when a cat belonging to the King family gave birth to a litter. One of the kittens stood out for having 2 faces. They named it Biscuits and Gravy. And although the kitten appeared to have just one brainstem, it could eat, suck, and meow with both mouths. The family was desperate to increase its odds of survival, so they took over the duties of being its mother. It's like having a newborn baby, King said. We set the alarm for every 2 hours to feed him during the night and feed him every 2 hours, 24 hours a day. We are very careful to keep him warm at all times, and he snuggles inside my wife's shirt for most of the day. Number 2. 2-headed snakes. The story behind the naming of the 2-headed snake, Double Dave, is a wild one. Double Dave was discovered in a forest in New Jersey, USA. And it was given that name because it was discovered by environmentalist Dave Schneider and his colleague, Dave. Double Dave, the snake, not the 2 men, is a venomous pit viper. At the top of an 8 to 10 inches body, it has 2 fully formed heads. Both heads work separately from each other. If they were out in the wild, they wouldn't have survived, as the snake hadn't perfected easily moving. Its slowness would have made it easy pickings for predators and made it hard to capture prey. Like all other 2-headed snakes, one of the Daves is slightly more developed than the other, and the 2 constantly fight over food, even though it doesn't matter who eats what, as it all heads towards the same digestive system. Number 1. 2-headed albino snake. What? Not only is this snake 2-headed, but it's also albino. Talk about 1 in a million. We just talked about 2-headed snakes, but this one is so unique, it deserves its own point. Meet Medusa, a 2-headed albino Honduran milk snake with its 2 faces, 2 sets of fangs, 2 forked tongues, and full control of its body. Medusa was born in captivity, That's why it was able to survive for so long, especially considering that the heads are constantly at each other's throats. When feeding time comes, both heads are served separate meals, which are usually mice. According to its caretakers, if one head finishes its meal before the others, it attacks the slower eater, triggered by the scent of recent prey. So, the caretakers have to step in to stop them from killing each other. That was all for today, guys. Let us know in the comments what you thought of these two-headed animals. Would you be freaked out by a snake with two heads? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can keep creating videos for you. Till the next one.